This video will be demonstrating passing arguments using Raptor. The program that we're going to use for this demonstration is to calculate the server's tip based on the bill. The user will enter in the bill and the bill amount and the tip percentage, and this will be a modular program that will display the total tip and overall total amount. Here we have our hierarchy. We have our main module, our welcome module, get bill tip, which will get the amount of the bill and the tip percentage from the user. This will calculate the tip total as well as the overall total, and this last one will display the totals to the user. In our top-down design, or IPO, we have the bill amount and the tip percent that the user is going to enter. We have the tip amount, which will equal the bill amount times the tip percentage. Remember, we use the asterisk for multiplication. And the total amount equals the bill amount plus the tip amount. And the output will be the tip amount and the total amount. So coming down to our pseudocode, and I'm not going to go over all of this, you can look at this online. We have our basic header comments. We have calling all of our main modules, declaring and initializing. But let me come down here to call bill tip, and we're going to pass the value that's in the bill amount and the tip percent, and we want to pass it there, and we want to receive it back because we want to use it in other modules. So let me just go into Raptor, and you can see that I already have part of it started. I have my welcome module already created, and then I have my basic variables initialized and declared. So now I want to use, I want to call my get bill tip. To do this, and I'm going to be passing variables, I'm going to be passing my bill amount and my tip percent. So to do this, I'm going to come up to main, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to add a procedure. You'll notice that within this procedure they're asking for their procedure name. So I'm going to go and I'm just going to copy that and put that over here into my procedure name. And now I'm going to actually come down here in my pseudocode to where I have get tip. And you see here that I'm going to be passing my bill amount from up here into my variable B amount. And that's what I want to have here within my procedure. I'm going to be using this from input, so I'm going to be getting that from the main module, as well as I want to send it back to the module. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my T percent, which will hold the value of my tip percent when I go through and call it. So I'm going to use that again for input and output. So I'm going to click on OK. You'll notice it creates the module within Raptor, but if I come back to main, it doesn't put that call on there. So I want to go ahead and put the call on there. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to highlight everything, and I'm going to click on my call symbol and then enter it in there. I just copied and pasted it directly in. I'm going to click on done. We know that everything went through fine, otherwise we would have gotten an error. So now I'm going to scroll back down here to get bill tip. This is where I'm going to have two input statements, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to ask the user to put in the bill amount as well as a tip amount. So I'm going to use my input symbol, and I'm going to put that in with my quotes in it. And in this case, I'm going to store it in my B amount, which is what I used, which was declared in my module setup. And I'm going to do the same thing for my tip amount. So I'm going to come over here and copy what I want to display to the user. You'll notice that these are very descriptive. The user knows exactly how to put in the information. And again, here I will use the variable that's within this module. So that's T percent. And I'm going to click on done. I'm not going to worry about putting the comment in here at this moment in time. But let me come back and do one more. So I'm back in main. Let me come back up to my main, and I have my call calculate tips. I'm going to be sending it 4 values, and I want 2 values back. I already have my bill amount and tip percent back because I have that from my first module, but I do want to get my tip amount and my total amount back. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come into main, and I'm going to add a procedure. And then I'm going to come down here to the actual procedure, and I'm going to copy and paste again. So it's call tips totals, and then I'm going to pass in my B amount. I just want that in. I do not want to send that back out. And my tip percent, which is stored in T percent variable. Now my total tip, I want it to come in, as well as my output, and my T amount, which will hold the value of my total amount, and I want to send that back to my main module. So I have all 4 of those in there. You'll notice you're limited to 6. I'm going to click on OK. It creates that submodule. And let me come back to main, and I'm going to go into call this time, and I'm going to double click here, and I'm just going to type in, or excuse me, copy and paste my calculate or calc tip totals, and you'll see down here, once you put that information in, it will show you the arguments and in the order of those arguments. So what I can do is I can come in and I can just go ahead and put in the variables, or I can do like I did before, which is come back up to my call statement and copy and paste those in. Either way, whichever is more comfortable for you. And then click on done. So I have my call statement, my calculate tip totals. So I'm going to come down and I have 2 assignment statements that I'm going to use to calculate this. The first one is going to be for T-tip, and you'll notice once I put in 2 T's together, it brings up my variable, so I'm just going to hit my enter key. And then I'm going to take my B amount, and it has to be my B amount because that's the only thing that's available in my module. Whoops. So my B amount, and I'm going to multiply it by my tip. So multiply it, I use the asterisk, and that will store the result of that in my T-tip variable, which is here in my submodule. And if I come back to main, you'll notice that's 1, 2, that's my 3rd variable over. So my 3rd variable over here is tip amount. So when it comes back into my main module, my tip amount will have a value in it. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this for my total amount, which is stored in T amount, and that's simply my tip total plus my bill total, which is stored in T tip and B amount. So I'm not going to worry about my comments here right now. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to go ahead and very quickly do my show totals. And my show totals I'm passing into variables. So I come into main, add procedure, and then I'm going to type in show totals, and I'm going to type one of these in wrong just so that you can see what to do when you get an error. So I'm going to type both of these in. We're just going to put these in for input. I'm going to type those in correctly because at this point in time those don't matter. And then I'm going to come in and do just real quickly, I have 2 display statements. So I'm going to display tip total. You'll notice I used a little $sign in there in my symbol. Don't forget to change out your commas with a plus sign, as well as your quotes. You want to remove those. I don't know why Raptor doesn't like word quotes, but it doesn't. And put in the quotes in there. So we have our literal string plus our variable. So we have all of these in here, but I have to do my call up here. And in my call, so in my call statement, I'm going to put show totals, and I'm going to put in an error just to show you how to go through and fix it and how the system will give you kind of a hint where the error is. So I'm going to put in total T tip, and you'll notice I don't have a variable in here named total T tip. And watch as I run it. It asks for my bill amount, so it's $15, and we'll give them a 20% tip. It tells me variable total T-tip not found. I'm going to click on OK. It doesn't take you back to which module, so it stopped in my show totals. So I'm going to assume that it was called from my main. You'll notice when I come over to my main, my call is in a red box instead of a blue box. So I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to get rid of the extra T. And now I'm going to run it again. And so I'm going to go back and enter in $20, 20%. And I still get that same error. So it's total tip not found. So my amount, my value is not really total tip. It's tip amount. So let me come back in here. Change this one more time. And now let's try it. 20.2. My float chart's complete. If I had a $20 bill and I gave them 20%, that would give a $4 tip and a $24 overall amount. If you have any questions on this video, please go ahead and post those on the discussion board. I will post the entire PDF, which contains the results as well as the Raptor file. Thank you.